The cosmic alarm clock isn't a sound you hear with your ears, but a vibration that resonates deep within your marrow, signaling that your period of hibernation has reached its absolute limit. You have likely felt an unexplainable internal pressure lately, a sense of restlessness that persists even when your external life seems quiet, because your soul recognizes that the window for preparation is closing. This spiritual urgency is designed to pull you out of the mundane routines that have kept your true power suppressed, forcing you to acknowledge that you were born for a specific epic that is unfolding right now. Most people will sleep through this shift, but for you, the noise of your calling has become too loud to ignore, acting as a divine disruption to ensure you don't miss your appointment with destiny. To ignore this alarm any longer is to risk a deep soul sickness, as the energy meant for your mission begins to ferment within you, demanding to be expressed through immediate and radical action. Your soul is ringing because the frequency of the planet is shifting, and as a chosen one, you are the designated anchor for this new consciousness, requiring you to shed your old identity overnight. This isn't a gentle nudge. It's a high-voltage shock to your system intended to break the chains of procrastination and fear that have held you captive for years. You must realize that every moment you spend in indecision is a moment you are out of alignment with the cosmic timing that governs your success. The ringing is a reminder that you are a steward of a higher truth, and the world can no longer afford your silence or your self-doubt. You are being summoned to the front lines of a spiritual evolution, and the discomfort you feel is simply the friction of your old life falling away to make room for the monumental tasks that lie ahead. The hidden signs start with a sudden, overwhelming intolerance for anything inauthentic, where conversations, jobs, and social circles that used to be tolerable now feel like they are suffocating your spirit. You might notice a strange synchronization in numbers or repeated symbols that seem to follow you everywhere, serving as a persistent breadcrumb trail leading you away from your comfort zone and toward your untapped potential. Physical symptoms like sudden bursts of energy followed by deep exhaustion or a ringing in the ears are often your body's way of recalibrating to the intense influx of light and information you are now receiving. You are also likely experiencing a profound sense of isolation, not because you are unloved, but because your vibration is moving into a different octave that requires you to stand alone before you can lead others. These signs are manifestations of your internal guidance system screaming for your attention, highlighting the gap between who you are currently pretending to be and who you were designed to become. You may find that your intuition has become razor sharp, allowing you to see through people's masks and predict events before they happen, which is a clear indicator that your psychic faculties are being forced into activation. Even your dreams have likely become more vivid and instructional, acting as a nighttime classroom where you are being briefed on the complexities of your upcoming mission. If you feel like a stranger in your own life, it is because your higher self is already moving forward, and your physical reality is struggling to keep up with the rapid expansion of your consciousness. This emergency status is triggered by the fact that your environment is no longer capable of sustaining the version of you that plays small or seeks approval from the masses. Every setback or closed door you've encountered recently is actually a protective redirection, preventing you from wasting any more precious time on paths that lead to dead ends. You are being pushed into a corner by the universe so that the only way out is up, forcing you to rely on the supernatural gifts you've suppressed out of fear of being different. The urgency you feel is the recognition that the tools you need are already within your grip, and the only thing missing is your conscious decision to use them. These signs are your final warnings to stop looking for external validation and to start trusting the divine authority that has been placed inside you since birth. The feeling that you are late is a common trap of the human mind, which views progress as a linear race against a ticking clock. However, for the chosen one, time does not function in a straight line. It is a fluid landscape where a single moment of total alignment can outweigh decades of wandering. You must understand that your perceived delay was actually a period of intensive hidden preparation, where your soul was gathering the necessary experiences to handle the weight of your future mission. The anxiety of being behind is merely an illusion created by comparing your internal spiritual journey to the external milestones of a society that does not understand your path. Once you step into your true power, you will realize that you are arriving exactly when the world is ready for you, and not a second later. The universe operates on a divine timing that far supersedes human schedules, meaning that what looks like a late start is often a perfectly timed entrance. You have been kept in the shadows to protect your energy and to allow your gifts to mature without the interference of those who would try to dim your light. When you finally emerge, you will possess a depth and a resilience that those who started early but shallowly simply cannot match. This emergency you feel is not a punishment for lost time, but a compression of energy designed to launch you forward with a velocity that bypasses the traditional steps of success. In the realm of the spirit, readiness is the only currency that matters, and your life has been a series of lessons ensuring you are fully funded for the tasks ahead. If you continue to ignore the call, the energy meant to build your empire will begin to turn inward, creating a state of spiritual friction that manifests as deep depression or physical fatigue. Staying in a place where you no longer belong causes your vibration to sour, leading to a life of quiet desperation where you are physically present but spiritually vacant. This stagnation is the most dangerous consequence of inaction, as it breeds a resentment toward the universe that can cloud your ability to see the opportunities still being placed in your path. The cost of waiting is the slow erosion of your divine confidence, making the eventual leap of faith feel much more terrifying than it actually needs to be. You are essentially holding back a tidal wave of potential, and the pressure of that containment will eventually become unbearable. The world around you also suffers when you refuse to step into your role, as there are specific people and situations that can only be unlocked by your unique frequency. By staying small, you are unintentionally denying others the catalyst they need for their own awakening, creating a ripple effect of missed connections and unfulfilled destinies. Your inaction doesn't just stall your life. It creates a void in the collective consciousness that was meant to be filled by your specific light. This is why the sense of emergency is so intense. The universe is trying to prevent the further decay of your potential and the potential of those you are destined to serve. Every day you wait is a day that the darkness is allowed to persist in spaces where you were meant to bring illumination. Finally, the ultimate cost of inaction is the loss of the sovereign self, where you become a mere passenger in your own life, rather than the architect of your reality. You forfeit your authority to the whims of society, the expectations of others, and the hollow pursuit of temporary security. This trade-off results in a life that feels like a costume that doesn't fit, a constant state of pretending that drains your life force until there is nothing left for your true calling. Breaking this cycle requires an immediate and total commitment to your path, regardless of how late you think you are. The emergency is not about the time you have lost, but about the life you have left to live. Every second you reclaim from the shadows is a victory that begins to reverse the damage of your previous hesitation. Shifting from survival mode to vibrational alignment requires a radical, honest assessment of your current internal state, as survival mode is characterized by a constant state of fight or flight that keeps your consciousness trapped in low-frequency loops. When you operate from survival, your brain is hyper-focused on perceived threats, scarcity, and the opinions of others, which effectively blocks your ability to receive the higher downloads meant for your mission. Alignment, conversely, is the state of being where you trust the divine flow so deeply that your nervous system finally relaxes, allowing your spiritual gifts to surface. This shift is not a luxury but a strategic necessity. Because you cannot build a new world or fulfill a sacred calling while your energy is being bled dry by the fear of not having enough or being enough. True vibrational alignment acts as a magnetic force that pulls the right opportunities and people toward you without the frantic hustle that survival mode demands. It is the practice of matching your internal energy to the reality you wish to inhabit, before that reality even manifests in the physical world. For the chosen one, this means prioritizing your peace above all else and refusing to engage with dramas that drain your vitality. When you are aligned, you move with a sense of effortless grace, where the right doors open and the wrong ones close without you having to force them. This state of being is your natural inheritance, and moving back into it is the only way to stop the feeling of being in a constant state of emergency. Severing the anchors in your life is the most painful yet necessary step in your evolution, as you cannot fly while carrying the weight of people who are committed to staying on the ground. These anchors often appear in the form of long-term friendships, family dynamics, or professional ties that require you to dim your light just to keep them comfortable. You must recognize that your growth is a threat to those who benefit from your stagnation, and their attempts to guilt or shame you are merely reflections of their own fear of change. Cutting these ties is not an act of cruelty, but an act of self-preservation and respect for the mission you have been assigned. If someone does not celebrate your awakening, they have no business participating in your future. As you begin to detach from these low vibrational anchors, you will experience a period of intense emptiness that is often mistaken for loneliness, but is actually the clearing of space for your true tribe to arrive. The universe cannot bring in your soul family or your divine collaborators until you have physically and energetically removed the placeholders that are taking up their room. This process requires a ruthless commitment to your own boundaries and the courage to say no to anything that feels like a compromise of your integrity. You are essentially pruning your life so that the core of your being can finally receive the nutrients it needs to flourish. The people you leave behind are not your enemies, but they are part of a version of you that no longer exists. The final stage of severing these anchors involves forgiving yourself for staying tethered to them for as long as you did, understanding that those lessons were necessary to build your discernment. Once you are free, the energy that was previously spent managing toxic relationships and defending your path can finally be channeled into your creative and spiritual output. This liberation brings a profound sense of clarity, allowing you to see your mission without the distortion of other people's projections or limitations. You are now a sovereign entity, unencumbered and ready to move at the speed of light toward the destiny that has been waiting for you. By letting go of what is heavy, you finally grant yourself the permission to be light, both in spirit and in your impact on the world. The blueprint of your mission is not something you create from scratch, but a pre-encoded set of instructions embedded within your DNA that reveals itself as you align with your authentic self. To access this blueprint, you must look at the intersection of your greatest natural talents and the specific burdens you feel for the world, as these holy frustrations often point directly to the problems you were sent to solve. Your mission is uniquely tailored to your frequency, meaning no one else can fulfill it, and it will often manifest as a desire to build, teach, or heal in a way that challenges the status quo. By examining the patterns of your life, you will see that every hardship was actually a specialized training session designed to equip you with the exact tools needed for this specific blueprint. Understanding this divine architecture requires you to stop seeking external templates for success and instead trust the intuitive nudges that guide your creative output. The blueprint unfolds in stages, providing you with just enough light for the next step so that you remain dependent on your connection to the source rather than your own ego. As you begin to act on these insights, you will notice that the universe provides the resources and coincidences necessary to bring the vision to life, confirming that you are on the right track. This mission is your primary reason for being on the planet at this time, and once you commit to it, the confusion that has plagued your life will be replaced by a singular driving purpose. Overcoming the shadow of fear is the ultimate test for the chosen one, as the ego will generate intense resistance the moment you decide to step into your power. This fear is not a sign that you are doing something wrong, but a confirmation that you are approaching the boundaries of your old self and are about to break through into a new dimension of existence. Instead of trying to eliminate the fear, you must learn to use the adrenaline it produces as a high-octane fuel for your courage, transforming anxiety into a powerful state of readiness. The shadow is merely a guardian at the gate, and its job is to ensure that only those who are truly committed and purified by their own resolve can pass through to the next level of their evolution. To master this shadow, you must confront the parts of yourself that still crave the safety of the herd and the approval of the mediocre, as these are the entry points for self-doubt. By illuminating your own inner darkness, you take away the ego's power to sabotage your progress through procrastination or perfectionism. This process involves recognizing that the emergency you feel is actually a call to bravery, urging you to act despite the trembling in your hands. When you face your fears directly, you realize they are mostly made of smoke and mirrors designed to keep you small and manageable. Once you push through the initial wall of terror, you will find a reservoir of strength you never knew you possessed, allowing you to lead others with the authority of someone who has conquered their own demons. Finally, the shift from being a victim of your fear to being its master marks the moment you truly become a leader in the spiritual realm. You begin to understand that the emergency adrenaline is actually a gift, heightening your senses and focusing your mind for the task at hand. This newfound boldness allows you to take risks that others find impossible because you are no longer governed by the need for a guaranteed outcome. You act because it is your nature to act, and in doing so, you dissolve the shadows not just for yourself, but for everyone who watches your journey. Your courage becomes a beacon, proving that the chosen one is not someone who is never afraid, but someone who moves forward precisely because the stakes are so high. The support system you cannot see is a vast, multidimensional network of celestial guides, ancestors, and energetic forces that have been assigned to your journey long before you even arrived on this plane. While you may feel physically isolated in your mission, you are never truly alone, as these invisible allies are constantly working behind the scenes to arrange the synchronicities and lucky breaks that propel you forward. This divine team communicates through subtle nudges, recurring dreams, and sudden flashes of insight that provide the answers you need exactly when you need them. To tap into this support, you must quiet the noise of the material world and develop a sensitivity to the whispers of the spirit, acknowledging that your success is a collective interest of the higher realms. By recognizing this invisible scaffolding, you shift from a mindset of struggle to one of supported sovereignty, knowing that the resources of the universe are at your disposal. This support system doesn't just offer comfort, it provides a protective shield around your energy, ensuring that no weapon formed against your purpose can truly prosper as long as you remain in alignment. You will start to notice that just as you reach your limit, a message, a person, or a resource appears out of nowhere to carry you through the next phase. This is the universe's way of validating your path and reminding you that you are part of a much larger, coordinated effort to bring light to this world. Trusting in this unseen guidance allows you to take bolder steps, knowing that the ground will always appear beneath your feet. Your 24-hour activation plan begins with a total and unconditional surrender to your calling, where you stop negotiating with your destiny and start obeying your intuition without hesitation. The first step is to perform a radical audit of your current environment, immediately removing or distancing yourself from anything that drains your frequency or distracts you from your blueprint. This is the moment you stop preparing to be the chosen one and start actually being it. making decisions from the perspective of your future empowered self rather than your wounded past. The emergency status requires you to treat your time as the sacred currency it is, focusing every ounce of your intent on the actions that will move the needle toward your ultimate mission. In these first critical hours, you must also establish a daily ritual that grounds your power and connects you to your invisible support system, ensuring that you never again operate from a place of spiritual depletion. Whether it is through intense meditation, focused writing, or communion with nature, you must create a non-negotiable space where you receive your daily briefings from the source. This activation is not a one-time event, but a permanent shift in how you inhabit the world, requiring you to move with the authority of someone who knows exactly why they are here. By the end of this 24-hour window, the late feeling will vanish because you will finally be in motion, and motion is the only cure for the anxiety of delay. Finally, you must declare your commitment to the universe through a tangible physical act that symbolizes your transition from the old life to the new. This could be launching that project you've feared, speaking a truth you've suppressed, or simply letting go of a habit that no longer serves your higher frequency. As you take this step, the energy of the emergency transforms into a steady, unshakable power that radiates from your core, signaling to the world that the chosen one has finally arrived. The clock is no longer ticking against you. It is now ticking with you as you are finally synchronized with the heartbeat of creation. Your journey officially begins now, and there is no looking back because the light you are about to bring is exactly what this era has been waiting for. The moment you have just spent listening is the moment your old life officially ended. You now possess the keys to a kingdom that has been waiting for its rightful ruler, you. This urgency you felt wasn't a warning of failure, but a call to greatness that can no longer be silenced. I want to know, what was the one truth in this message that shook your soul the most? To show that you've claimed your power and made it to the very end of this activation, and to help this message reach the others who are still sleeping, type the word chosen in the comments below. Your engagement ensures that the algorithm finds those who are desperately searching for this exact signal. Remember, you were not born to fit in. You were born to lead the way. As it is written, the stars do not struggle to shine, and neither shall you. Walk in your light, stay in your power, and never look back. The world is finally ready for you.